I was really looking forward to this camping trip. A break from the chaos of city life, just me, my wife, and our 2 kids, disconnected from the world, surrounded by nature. We picked a secluded campground in a national park, nestled near a river. The reviews said it was peaceful, perfect. The drive was beautiful. Mountain roads, trees arching overhead, and cool air brushing against our windows. The kids chattered non-stop in the back seat, their excitement contagious. We arrived late in the afternoon. The place was even better than we'd hoped. Only a few other campers were around, far enough that it felt like we were alone. We set up near the woods, close enough to hear the river. That first evening was like something out of a dream. Roasting marshmallows, sharing stories, the fire crackling under a sky painted in pink and gold. For a moment, everything felt perfect, but as night fell, something shifted. A strange feeling crept over me. Not fear exactly, just unease, like something was off. I brushed it off, thinking it was just being out in the wild. The kids went to bed early. My wife and I sat by the fire, enjoying the peace, but then I heard it. Footsteps, slow, deliberate, crunching softly along the gravel trail behind our tent. I glanced at my wife. She didn't seem to notice. Maybe it was just another camper heading to their site. But the footsteps didn't fade. They got closer, heavier, like someone walking with intent. I looked behind me, heart thudding, nothing, just darkness and shadows. But then, the footsteps stopped. A heavy silence settled in, the kind that makes your skin crawl. And then, we heard something brushing against the tent. A soft rustle, fabric being touched. Someone, or something, was outside. My wife looked at me, eyes wide. She whispered. I didn't answer. I didn't need to. She already knew. We held our breath, listening. Then, silence again. Trying to stay calm, we put out the fire and crawled into the tent. The kids were still asleep. We zipped ourselves into our sleeping bags. But I couldn't sleep. Every rustle, every creak outside made my heart race. Sometime past midnight, the zipper on the tent started to open. Slowly, deliberately, I sat up, heart pounding. My wife was already awake, gripping my arm. The tent flap was half open. Cool air drifted in. I reached for the flashlight, turned it on, but I couldn't bring myself to aim it at the flap. And then I heard it, a whisper. The voice was raspy, human, but not quite. I swung the flashlight toward the opening. No one, nothing. The voice whispered again, closer this time. Like it was inches from my ear, the tent suddenly shook violently. The kids woke up, screaming. My wife tried to calm them as the tent shook again, something heavy breathing outside. I grabbed my camping knife. I had to protect them. I unzipped the tent the rest of the way and stepped into the night. The campground was empty. I scanned with the flashlight. Nothing, no movement, just trees and shadows. But then, from the trees, that whisper again. I backed up, heart racing, and zipped the tent closed. That was enough. We packed up everything in record time, didn't even talk, just moved. We threw our stuff into the car, the kids clinging to us, too scared to cry. We drove through the night, not stopping until we reached a rest stop hours away. Exhausted, rattled, my wife finally spoke. I didn't have an answer. I still don't. But I know one thing. I don't want to find out what would have happened if I'd let it in. We'd been planning this trip for weeks, 4 friends. One last adventure before summer ended and college scattered us across the country. The plan? Find an untouched camping spot, go off-grid, and spend a few nights under the stars. No phones, no noise, no distractions. We didn't know it would turn into a nightmare. Ryan, the self-proclaimed outdoorsman, found the map online. It led to a secluded forest deep in the mountains, so remote it didn't even have a name. He said, grinning like an idiot, holding the map like it was treasure. We laughed. None of us really believed in that stuff. But haunted or not, it sounded like a good story waiting to happen. The drive was beautiful, sunlight flickering through thick trees, the air fresh with pine and moss. But once we left the car and started hiking, the forest began to change. At first it was subtle, quieter than it should have been. The deeper we went, the heavier the silence became. Like the woods were holding their breath. About an hour in, I got the feeling we weren't alone. And then I saw it. A figure, barely visible, standing between the trees up ahead. Just watching. I froze. I whispered. The others turned to look, but the figure was gone. Matt chuckled nervously. Maybe he was right. Maybe I was just seeing things. But let me ask you something. If you were deep in the woods and saw a shadow watching you from the trees, what would you do? Drop your answer in the comments. Would you run, investigate, pretend you never saw it? Now back to what really happened. We set up camp in a small clearing. Ryan got a fire going. Jess unpacked food. And slowly, we started to relax. But the feeling never really left me. That's when the whispering started. At first, we thought it was the wind. Then it came again, closer this time. A breathy voice, just beyond the edge of the firelight. Ryan called out. No response. Just that whisper, slithering through the darkness. Matt grabbed his flashlight and stepped toward the trees. We begged him not to go far. And then, the beam of his light caught something. A face. Pale, hollow eyes. It vanished in an instant, but the fear it left behind was very real. We scrambled into our tents, zipped in, hearts pounding. That night felt endless. I lay awake, staring at the thin tent fabric, knowing something was just outside, watching, waiting. The morning sun didn't bring comfort. The air was still thick, the woods still silent. We packed quickly, barely speaking. And just when we thought we were in the clear, we saw it again. The same figure, standing in the path, unmoving, eyes like black pits. Then it began to dissolve, like smoke. We didn't wait. We ran. The forest twisted around us, the trail unfamiliar even though we'd just walked it, and the whispering returned, louder, constant, crawling into our ears like static. And then, finally, we saw the car. Relief surged through us as we bolted toward it. But just before I opened the door, I glanced back. It was there, standing at the tree line, watching. Even as we sped away, dust flying behind us. I swear, I could still feel its eyes, and I still can. If you enjoyed this terrifying trip into the unknown, hit that like button. Subscribe for more real horror stories. And don't forget to answer the question from earlier in the comments. What would you do if you saw something watching you in the woods? Want me to add voiceover directions, sound cues, or visuals for editing?